Political analyst Frank Torres joining us right now. And Frank, you know, it's interesting. We were just pointing out as we were watching some of the video from the big speeches last night that we're seeing Charlie Crist's wife. For many people, the first time seeing her on the election campaign trail. We really haven't seen much of Ann Scott really either, other than in a couple of political ads. You know, a lot of times the wives help to sort of soften up the candidate. Why do you think we haven't seen much of them?
You know, Carol Crist has always been a little bit off to the sidelines when it's come to the campaign. It's never really been her thing. She is a supportive spouse, and you will see her out occasionally on the campaign trail. Ann Scott has been in a couple of ads for Rick Scott to warm up the campaign, like you've said, to add a human element, because he's not exactly the most warmest guy. So she's been able to fill that capacity. But you're right. It's been, as far as the spouses have been concerned, they've sort of been in the background and sort of letting their husbands take all the spotlight. And Lord knows they've taken a lot of it.
They sure have. It has been, listen, there's no bones about it. It's been a nasty campaign. These guys have really been at each other. A lot of negative campaigning. Why do the negative ads work?
You know, they catch people's attention, and it used to be that going negative was a last resort tactic. You only did it when there was nothing else to be done. But now with these new operatives, this new wave of political engineering, you're seeing people go negative first. They want to know the dirt. They want to know what's wrong with the person. They want to strike first before they get hit first. And whoever draws first blood tends to come out on top. This has been a very negative campaign, and up until about yesterday, maybe you might even still see some today. There's still going to be some negative campaigning over the others' records and policies.
Frank, that Zogby poll came out 2 days ago, and I think a lot of people were really surprised by the wide margin there. You know, all these polls that we've been seeing up until the Zogby poll have been within a couple percentage points of each other. That Zogby poll had Charlie Crist out by 7 points ahead of Governor Scott. What were your thoughts on that?
You know, you try to look for trends with the polls. You try to look. There's so many polls out there. It seems like we publish one every day. But you try to look for a consistent trend that has a candidate up consistently. We've seen Charlie Crist up in several polls, but well within the margin of error, which means it's really too close to call. And I think it's going to be a very long night, and that dreaded word recount has been thrown out there. And if that's out there, we might not even know who the governor is tomorrow morning.
All right, real quick, Frank, who turns out for midterm elections?
Republicans tend to turn out in higher midterm elections. Democrats' numbers have been higher over the previous days, as reports have shown. But it tends to be the GOP that turns up higher in midterms. We saw that in 2010.
All right, Frank, as always, we appreciate your expertise.
Anytime.
Frank's going to be sticking around with us this morning, so thanks for your time.